I don't like talking about this, but we have to talk about this. Oh, this is not so good, culture. It is, unfortunately, the demolition of a beloved area of Magic Kingdom, that being Tom Sawyer's Island. That's part of Rivers of America, at the most attended theme park in the world. I cannot believe this is happening. Unfortunately, it is. From Blog Mickey right here, aerial photos show all buildings demolished. Tom Sawyer's Island at the Magic Kingdom. This is October 19th, 2025. You can see this right here. This is from October 16th. Some of the buildings and structures that were that were actively being demolished right here. It's just really, really sad to see some of these. This one is very, very tough. And then we also have another update from Block Mickey, October 21st. This time, Disney begins demolition of Tom Sawyer's Island cave systems at Magic Kingdom, with advanced photos of that as well. And it's heartbreaking. What's even more heartbreaking than all of this is this video shared by Drew, the Disney Dude right here. He has this to show us, which is the active demolition with excavators in view of guests of Tom Sawyer's Island as part of Rivers of America. We have to cover this because it's so important. It's important to understand how much of a mistake this is and how historic this is for the Walt Disney Company to actually do this. Ron, looks like you want to come in here with some thoughts. Please go ahead. What can you provide?
Do you realize the opportunity that the Disney Company could have had at the beginning of this to set all this up to offset? And I don't know if anybody in the company understood the backlash that they were going to get for this, but there's a segment of people who are all for this, which is ridiculous, but the backlash is tremendous. But they could have offset it, and there's a really, really simple way that they could have offset it. They have a property that used to be called Treasure Island and then Discovery Island, and then that property, that venue, if you will, they moved all the animals from it to Animal Kingdom when it opened. But how cool would it be if they just said, what we're going to do is relocate Tom Sawyer's Island to the old Discovery Island and make it a venue that people can pay a small admission fee to, and have all kinds of cool put Fort Langhorne there, put the cave system in there. There's definitely ways that could have been done. And they could have, in the press announcement, they're like, we're doing this over here at Magic Kingdom, but we understand that we want to preserve Walt Disney's, Walt's idea of this. So we're gonna make this other attraction. And it would have at least lessened the gut punch that this is to longtime fans of Disney. Of course, it not being in the park still makes the park unbalanced, but it would have been something. And, understandable that they call this an underutilized area. This was a respite area. It was a place where you could go in the park during your long park days. Park days could be 12, 14 hours long, depending on how long they're staying open these days.
Yeah.
And not have to go back to your resort. And go over to the island and enjoy an hour or two of peaceful rest while the kids played through the caves. Great views of things like the Haunted Mansion. This island was honestly somewhat of a hidden gem for Disney fans, but those that knew, and that's why I think there was such a backlash, is because Disney just kind of kept this hidden. There wasn't a lot of hubbub about this from the Disney company ever. And it was an amazing place, and definitely a gem. And then the worst part of this is not only are they destroying all this, but they're putting in something that does not exist in the Frontier era, and that's cars. Right. Cars. And not only are they doing that, but they're doing it in an area that was conceived in the movie Planes. Planes definitely didn't exist in the old Frontier. It's just none of this. I mean, if you're gonna go with that, if Disney owned it, they might as well just put a Three Amigos area in there. it's just so it's ridiculous. Maybe it'll be beautiful, or if they did it, I don't know. I don't really trust Imagineers. Maybe the final product will be great, but it will still never be themed properly to what the area is supposed to be.
Yeah. Which is supposed to be kind of around the 19th century, right there, way before the automobile would take people out west. This is unbelievably unfortunate. One more thing I gotta show here, and Culture, I want to go ahead and set you up this way. This from Park Mind on X. Universal removed Rip Red Rocket in 64 days and is actively building a new coaster, that being, we think, the Fast and Furious East coaster. Meanwhile, Rivers of America closed 107 days ago, and they still haven't completed this destruction, this very slow and painful destruction and demolition of such a beloved area. Culture, I mean, how long is this going to go on for? And I guess, can we expect a new attraction in this space anytime soon?
No. So, look, I mean, Disney has been known of late, especially of late, to drag everything out. It's why it took from conception to realization 7 years, essentially, or just under 7 years, to get the Tron coaster, which is a one-for-one, copy of what they built in Shanghai. So it's kind of disgusting. It took them, think about how long it took for them to get rid of or replace or restructure all the infrastructure for Tron. I mean, that little lagoon that's outside there for flood control, I mean, that thing took how long to reshape? Far too long. These are projects that should be done in 4 or 5 days, not 4 or 5 months. And the demolition of this is not being conducted. Well, first of all, I doubt they even bothered to save like the very limited number of animatronic things and all of that in the old ways, which they really should. They should learn how to make things the old ways, because A, they last forever, and B, they're mechanically very simple. But I doubt they were forward thinking enough to do that. And if you're not being very careful about the disassembly, there's no reason it should take this long. This all could have disappeared over the course of a weekend if it was done properly. And again, it comes down to Iger's, I'm not even going to be kind and say thriftness. I'm going to say him being a cheapskate when it comes to CapEx. If this area wasn't producing profit, but what's not producing profit, tearing it down as slowly as possible. I mean, you should be in direct pursuit of the fastest replacement for this area that you could have if it needed replacement in the first place. So,
and think about that, Culture.
Disgusting. Yeah.
If you demoed this with some speed, you could have potentially had this open longer, right? You were in a rush to close it, and you're so slow demolishing it. If it was handled within like a month or so, your timeline could have been extended out, and you would have hit the same metrics on the back end, but people could have enjoyed it for longer, especially during the summer and so forth. They weren't able to. And it's just, and now we have to see these things slowly be destroyed in front of our eyes in some cases, like that excavator video right there. It's very painful. It's needlessly painful. And when Culture was saying underutilized right there, understand, folks, that the paradigm, the dynamic, the shift has occurred within Disney parks, in that when you have directly monetizable attractions, why keep something like Rivers of America when you can build like a new e-ticket or whatever and get single pass lightning on there for a period of time? And that's the shift. That's why Jeff Valli, the president of Walt Disney World, is saying this is underutilized, because he's looking at it from a profit standpoint. Rivers of America only loses this money versus we can directly monetize something that replaces it. It is the mindset, and that's why we have bars going into Grand Floridian or Magic Kingdom. That's it. Go ahead.
It's the problem with Lightning Lane in general.
Correct.
Yeah, understandable that when they introduced Fast Pass Plus, I'm not one of those people who realized, I should have realized back then that they were going in the direction of trying to figure out a way to monetize. But Fast Pass Plus obviously was complimentary to guests paying the admission price. And when that was the case, when you're only dealing with, when you're not monetizing that thing, then it doesn't really matter, right? But as soon as lightning lanes were monetized, and as soon as Disney realized that they could sell the heck out of that, even
Right.
when they weren't busy, even though every time that I've experimented with it with somebody who had a lightning lane and I didn't have a lightning lane, and we ended up at the same place at the same time, or even in cases where I remember the last time that I went on Dinosaur, the lightning lane line was way longer than the regular queue. And I'm like, I know you guys have a lightning lane, but you can see that the regular queue is shorter. Why don't you go to it? I don't get it. It was like a 10-minute wait, by the way, at that time. And it didn't take me 10 minutes to get on. But they're selling the heck out of those lightning lanes. They've got people coming from abroad or coming from different places, absolutely convinced that unless they spend an extra $50 per person per day, they're not going to be able to get on anything. And by doing that, the immediate mindset changes to anybody that's in charge of these theme parks is, how can we make the most money? Oh, we've got space that people aren't paying to get in once they're in the park. I mean, it's like it was. Now, remember that the park, it did initially open with a very small admission fee and then a per attraction fee. That's where you get the word e-ticket from, right? You have different tickets, A, B, C, D, E, depending on the level of attraction, you pay different, but it was like cents to pay for like at that time, I think you could go do the entire park, buy a book for like what, $25-$30 and get on everything.
The first Six Flags park was, I believe, Six Flags Over Texas, and that was championed by C.V. Wood, who, by the way, called himself the master builder of Disneyland. Look it up, folks. Very interesting history right there. But when Six Flags Over Texas originally opened, it was actually at a higher price point than Disney. And you might be thinking, well, that's kind of weird. I mean, it doesn't have nearly the amount of theming and quality that we would maybe associate with a Disney park, especially at that time. But the idea was, okay, the initial price will be higher, but everything else, like the attractions beyond the gates that you enter, will be included. Versus Disney was cheaper, but you had to obviously pay, like Ron pointed out right there, for every single attraction that you wanted to ride via those ticket books and so forth. So that was kind of the mindset, the difference right there. But the paradigm shift from FastPass being included as a perk to Lightning Lane that you have to pay, it's just the throughout management, it's like, look, we have to maximize that revenue stream. We have to maximize that revenue income. We can't have attractions like Rivers of America, only draining money from us. We have to make these things more profitable. And it's really unfortunate because it's why we haven't seen really a new show, Entertainment Spectacular, for example, because at this point they can't directly monetize them. Now, I think that's coming, but that's one of the reasons why they have focused more on attractions instead, because those things take money versus we make money with attractions and so forth. And it's like, and doesn't really matter the quality of those attractions either. Rise of Resistance, by the way, right now at Disneyland is like $40 for a single pass Lightning Lane. Yeah, it's that much. And so it's like,
Adventure is down right now, by the way, at this very second. I just checked. The highest, of course it is. I think the highest wait time in the park right now is like 40 minutes for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So it's not even very busy right now. It's the Magic Kingdom over the next however long this takes, 3, 4, 5, how long could it drag on for 6 years? It could. We don't know. But I think that with Universal and Epic Universe and all of that, I just think that the Magic Kingdom attendance is going to be down and continue to decline over the next several years.
I think it is.
Go back in time in your mind, and I want to say thank you to CLIFFLIX'S for all these great video elements here.
Absolutely.
And say, I'm sorry, CLIFFLIX'S, I saw obviously the super chat you sent at the end of my show, and I will acknowledge it tomorrow. I'm so sorry. But go back in time in your mind to New Fantasyland. How long did that take? Right? Largely cleared out space that had been sitting dormant because, they didn't want to give us a genuine, 40,000 leagues under the sea or 20,000 leagues or whatever it was. The submarine experience that we had back there that was perfectly fine. Right. And replace it with Mermaid, and some kind of meet and greet area and Beauty and the Beast Castle and Seven Dwarves Mine Train, which is insufficient and nowhere near the original blueprint for the attraction. So that Seven Dwarfs could have a much shorter wait time, except the stinginess of the Imagineers and the bullheadedness of them at the time for insisting that those mine cars be built the way they were and are insufficient for some humans to get into. So,
right.
Yeah,
there are a myriad of issues and problems, and that's the thing. When you are in a rush to get attractions in there or whatever, this is what happens. And like with the mine car coaster or with I don't know, Monstropolis or whatever, I don't know if the quality of those attractions will be worth buying into, but they will charge for them, and that's the whole goal and purpose behind a lot of what we're seeing right now. It's really unfortunate. And Ron, to your Magic Kingdom point about attendance, I mean, the recent Themed Entertainment Association numbers were just released by ACOM, and I was looking over the numbers, and Disneyland and Magic Kingdom are within like 500,000 people, and I'm pretty sure Disneyland's going to overtake Magic Kingdom in 2025 right here. That's going to be a big upset. This is where we're at, folks, and it's no good. Oh, go ahead, please, Ron.
I was just going to say Disneyland is clearly now the superior park. If it wasn't clear before, it is now.
I think that's demonstrable right here. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what Piston Peak and Villains Land bring with us, but I don't think it's going to make up for the loss that is Walt Disney's Frontierland, Rivers of America, and Tom Sawyer's Island.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.